Have you ever seen one of those TikTok videos or Instagram videos that made you stop and pay attention to the trends because everyone's doing it? So there's this trend happening on Instagram right now where it is about having a conversation or meeting yourself, your younger self, for coffee in a coffee shop. I think it originated by a creator, a poet, and it's a beautiful, beautiful idea. It's sweet, it's emotional, and some of them really moved me. But I have a hot take and an unpopular opinion about this trend, and I want to share it with you in this video today. I think that we spend entirely too much time offering hypothetical advice to our younger selves and not enough time becoming the person, the version of ourselves in the future that we will be proud of 10 years from now. It requires a little bit more work. I've always found the question, what would you tell your younger self? Very strange. And I get it. Sometimes it's a prompt to help you to reflect. Sometimes it's help the younger generation or someone just a few steps behind you to avoid certain mistakes. Of course that makes sense. But if the goal is your transformation, there is only one moment that matters, and that's now. Right now, just like you're watching this video, is the only moment that is going to determine your next move. All the things you're doing right now is an expense or an investment. I don't want to go on a tangent, so I'm going to dial it down just a little bit. I've been talking about leaning into another version of yourself and sharing my personal experience with that. Turning 40, losing my mom unexpectedly just a week before I turned 40. Caregiver burnout, not just for the 4 kids that I have and the client transformations and the shifts that I'm making in business, but also caregiving for my mom, being married, navigating fitness goals and Hashimoto's. I've talked about all of this. And even though I don't have a full picture yet of what the next 10 years will be, I am so excited to figure it out, to create it. I spend literally every day, including in this video, time with the image of the 5-year from now version of me, the 10-year from now version of me. The one thing that I'm very clear on, I'm done reminiscing about the version of me that ultimately died with my mom, the version of me that died through burnout, the version of me that was accepting of certain situations in my life and my business and my marriage and my friendships that held me to a standard that I didn't like, right? That made me feel suppressed. I'm done with all of that, and instead, I am ready to live in a bold, B-O-L-D, bold way. And today, I want to share exactly what this B-O-L-D acronym means for me, how you can start to build your future self with your actions, not just your intentions. So the B in bold stands for becoming the person of my dreams. You're exactly what you label yourself as, what you identify yourself as, what you decide you are. No goal, I don't care how much you affirm your way through this, will ever outperform or outgrow that belief you have about yourself. You can hit every milestone and every goal that you desire and still feel unworthy. You can build the life you thought you wanted and secretly self-sabotage it because deep down, you don't believe it's yours to keep. I have done this. I have achieved things I once prayed for and then ruined them because I had not yet built an identity. I hadn't become the person who could hold these things. This season of life is hitting a little bit different. Despite the ups and downs that come with still navigating grief and loss and burnout, I've made one thing my priority, my highest priority, building the identity and standards that align with what I truly want. So my strategy, which I'll share more in future content, my strategy this year to reach these quantum goals that I've assigned for myself, my focus is on becoming even before the outcome is realized. The O is about owning responsibility for my outcomes. Listen, my friend, I have to hold your hand when I tell you this. Blaming everyone else for your fear-based or trauma-informed decisions is getting kind of old. Yes, you were shaped by things outside of your control, but at some point, you gave permission to it. What I've learned and what I've decided is that reclaiming my power starts with noticing what I'm consenting to. Every day, when I look at what happened yesterday or how I felt about the day before, I ask myself, what thoughts and feelings did I agree to that led to that? If I had an off day with my husband, what thoughts or feelings led to that? If I felt like I was way off with what I thought I was gonna do with marketing and targeting and pitching and nothing happened, what thoughts or feelings led to that? If my kids are responding in a certain way that is like, what the heck is going on? What thoughts or feelings from my position as a leader led to that? Not what happened to me, but what I allowed to take root inside of me. And that question alone shifted me from a victim mindset, and I'm not minimizing this, to a creator. I get to co-create my results. Try it yourself. You might be surprised. You sit and identify and ask yourself that question, what you may be secretly and silently consenting to in your life. The L part stands for loving the process of my outcomes happening. Can I have a human level moment with you and be really candid? I have never known deep, bone level, gut wrenching, soul stirring sadness until my mom died. But here's what shocked me most. I am just loving and enjoying who I'm becoming as I'm navigating through this unexpected experience in my life. There's a really raw honesty that shows up when there is nothing left to perform for. And through that raw honesty, I've met myself again without guilt or pressure and without role performance. I see myself clearly now. I'm not just talking about the polished, pretty version that you get in these little micro videos on YouTube. I'm talking about the messy part of me, the part that I didn't know still existed, the pain and stuff that I identified as trauma-based and trauma-informed years ago and thought I dealt with, and showing up current day. The painfully slow progress that comes with pivoting or changing or going towards something. The obstacles, the parts that used to embarrass me. And now, because I'm loving the process of my outcomes happening for me, I'm also seeing value in every single one of those moments. I'm not just going after the finish line. I'm not so fixated on a finish line that I can't hold space for the moment of pride that I feel for who I am in this moment. I actually crossed a pretty big threshold today for a goal, and I am just like relishing in it. I'm just sitting in it, and I'm just so proud of myself. And it's a goal I haven't shared with anyone really, and I'm just so proud of myself for being here in this moment. So learning to love the process is a part of becoming bold. The D is doing whatever, and I do mean whatever it takes to get to that remarkable life that you want. You would think this would be the easier part, right? Just work harder, just put in more time, and it's not. This is the hardest part, because for me, doing whatever it takes means honest conversation, high courage conversation with myself, shedding every part of my identity that I created from this place of surviving the last few years of my life. But I know I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for that version of me, but she is not gonna let me thrive if I don't figure out how to let her go. And that shedding is the hard part. That meant for me, no more hiding, no more suppressing, no more being uncomfortable with being honest about how I am experiencing something in real time, like grief and burnout. No more thinking that or believing that that means being honest with you means that I can also show you an aspirational journey and process to get to the other side of it, even though I'm also in it, right? No more explaining myself to a point of exhaustion just for the sake of being understood. No more settling for the results I have just because it makes other people feel more comfortable because they refuse to go after something bigger and bolder, right? Whatever it takes for me is the courage to be seen, the courage to fail publicly, to say I want this, and let that be enough. So those are the 4 elements of bold, B-O-L-D, becoming, owning, loving, doing. And that's exactly the compass that I am filtering my decisions from in this next season of life as I think of how to build this remarkable life right now. So my friend, instead of sitting with your younger self at a coffee shop, I encourage you today to think about becoming the version of yourself that you can be proud of, because that's the only conversation that's really gonna change anything. So comment below and tell me which part of bold, B-O-L-D, feels most alive and aligned for you right now. If you love this video, you are going to love my content. I assure you, we are just getting started around here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when I post the next video.